The rude clay of freedom was thrown on the wheel of revolution by our founding fathers. A fragile and imperfectly shaped vessel of democracy, somehow weathered and fitfully matured in the westward winds of continental expansion. And 85 years later, the vessel was violently shoved into the fiery kiln of the Civil War to test whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. Long endure. It's a relative term. I recently was in Rome for a few days, where I spent some fascinating hours in the Colosseum and in the Forum, touring and reflecting on the glory that was Rome. From its mythic beginnings in the 8th century BC to its final and overdue demise in the 4th century AD, the glory lasted about 1,000 years. In walking the ruins where senators and tribunes held the world in their palms, where gladiators and centurions strutted like superstars, where all and everything was rendered unto Caesar, I was awed by this center of the wheel of the ancient world, the hub to which all roads led. But perhaps more awesome is not the word. More startling, more sobering was the completeness, the totality, the finality of its fall. Now be calm. Don't roll your eyes. I'm not here to lecture or to hector on the hubris of empire building. Another day, another venue. I want to talk about time. 1,000 years. That's a long time to endure. But again, long endure. It's a relative term. And it seems to me now that Rome came and went in the blink of an eye. For this is an element of the relativity of time. As time passes, it compresses into an era, an age, a word, a phrase, the glory that was Rome. 1,600 years have passed since the empire fell, and as I toured the ruins and stared into the arena, I detected not a trace of life, or rather, not a trace of a living past. I felt no presence, no spirit, no ghosts, no whispers of the dead. Surely I could conjure in my mind's eye and ear images, but any distant echoes of triumphal horns and clashing arms were obliterated by the din of traffic and construction. You see, the present is loud and vibrant in this magnificent city, but the past, on ironic display around every corner, in every square, the past is silent. The stone remained stone, the marble cold, the relics and ruins impassive and impervious. Not so this place, because this is a quiet place, and not all roads lead here. Just a few. Well, maybe a few more than a few, but not many more. And the roads don't so much lead to Gettysburg as they lead through Gettysburg, because Gettysburg is a crossroads. And at a crossroads in 1761, Samuel Geddes built a tavern, and a town was founded. And for 100 years, Gettysburg quietly bustled and serenely thrived because the ground was good. The soil holds water well. The hot summers make a good peach, and the cool autumns make the apples crisp and sweet. But then, for 3 days in July 1863, the town became the white-hot center of the kiln. And that fire has not died yet. The voices of battle still reverberate. Walk the fields in the early dawn or at dusk, and you will hear something. The whistle of artillery, the snap of standards in the breeze, the echoing yell of hard-charging gray phantoms, and the awful thunderous silence of the dead. The embers glow to this day. Our job on Dedication Day is to blow on the embers, to keep the fire alive. And we are aided in this by the very place itself. Because after the deeds were done, and the dead were buried, and the words were spoken, the quiet returned. And to this day, Gettysburg stands apart, almost aloof. Gettysburg lies just off the beaten track. And when we meet here, it is unlike two great armies, not by accident. We come here essentially for one reason: to dedicate a portion of ourselves to experiencing and understanding the deeds that were done here, the words that were spoken here, and in gaining some understanding, making a commitment to come again and again, to renew and to deepen our understanding of a new birth of freedom. So I am thankful for the quiet here, and I hope it remains so. And I am thankful to the good people of Gettysburg who are, by virtue of fate and geography, caretakers for a nation. You know, I'm often asked, why is it that I portray so many historical figures, both real and imagined, so many military figures, both real and imagined? My casual answer is that I have good posture and an authoritative voice. But it's a good question. And I believe that at least part of the answer can be found here in Gettysburg. You know, if you examine any prominent actor's career, you'll find there are certain themes, currents that run and develop throughout. Clint Eastwood, for example, the outsider who administers justice, or Jack Nicholson, the rule breaker, or Gregory Peck, the upright man of determination who works within the system. Themes: sacrifice, duty, courage, humility. These themes run strong in this place. And these are themes that have interested me for many years. Why? Well, I suppose it has to do with the human being that I aspire to be, and with what I perceive to be the contradictions within my own character. How do I square sacrifice with my own indulgence? How strong is my sense of duty next to my tendency towards irresponsibility? What dominates, my humility or my vanity? Don't answer that. And if put to the test, does courage or cowardice come forth from within? You see, there's no question in my mind that my maturation, my development as a human being has been guided, informed, and fortified by the character work that I've done throughout the years, the research, the empathy, the sense of the pretend made real, has shaped how I think, how I act, has molded who I am. And if I have brought my own tools or gifts to, say, George Pickett or Stonewall Jackson, if I've brought my good posture and commanding voice to them, well, they have brought much to me. The dichotomy of Jackson's by turn peaceful and warlike nature, his New Testament humility and his Old Testament ferocity, they're now permanent parts of my makeup as well. The boyishly joyful and optimistic vitality of George Pickett, combined with the sad incomprehension of defeat, that's part of me too. And just to illustrate the point, I'll add an imagined character. Avatar's Colonel Quaritch. He's proved to be a memorable villain according to many, but he is memorable because of the contradictions, the perversion of noble qualities, leadership, charisma, courage, fortitude. It's the contradictions that enrich. In exploring contradictions, a complete character emerges. And so it is with this place, a place of beauty where truly ugly things happened, a place of honest glory and a place of vanity and foolishness, a place of song and poetry, a place of silence and emptiness, of eloquence, of speechless horror, of genius, of stupidity, of meaning, of futility. A place where some felt the hand of God, where some felt God had turned away. A place of life and death. A simple place. A place of complexity that refuses to be simplified. On behalf of myself and my family, I must thank the Lincoln Fellowship of Pennsylvania, the Civil War Institute of Gettysburg College, Gettysburg National Military Park, and my gracious friends at the Lincoln Forum. I thank them for allowing me the privilege of and charging me with the responsibility to say some words worth hearing on this solemn and inspirational occasion. Gettysburg is a place of echoes, words spoken, deeds done. 148 years ago still whisperingly reverberate with soul-stirring resonance on these hills, in these fields, and it's humbling to be asked to add my voice to the rich symphony of this hallowed place. And as I prepared my remarks, I perused the roster of previous Dedication Day speakers, and I realized I could easily be intimidated by the oratorical prowess of Mario Cuomo, the deep knowledge of Lincoln scholars Harold Holzer, Gabor Borit, the military brilliance of General Colin Powell, the historical expertise of Ken Burns or James McPherson, and perhaps most intimidating of all, the sheer, mellifluous beauty of the voice of the late Shelby Foote. Their voices are all part of the Gettysburg echo. But I take solace in the safe assumption that each of these individuals have surely been humbled themselves and perhaps even intimidated by the absolute knowledge that no matter what one says here, no matter how profound, poetic, or inspirational, one is doomed to come in second at best. No words will ever match the enduring power and eloquence of 272 brilliantly crafted words spoken 148 years ago today by our 16th and our greatest president, Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln himself was pleased to note that his brief speech was not a total failure. I hope for no more. I will close with words of dedication from one of our greatest, and these words are dedicated to the memory of all who fell here, the blue and the grave. Walt Whitman wrote, But now I sing not of war, nor the measured march of soldiers, nor the tents of camps, nor the regiments hastily coming up deploying in line of battle, no more the sad, unnatural shows of war. But on these days of brightness, on the far stretching beauteous landscape, the roads and lanes, the high-piled farm wagons and the fruits and barns, should the dead intrude? The dead to me mar not. They fit well in nature. They fit very well in the landscape, under the trees and grass, and along the edge of the sky in the horizon's far margin. Nor do I forget you departed, nor in winter or summer, my lost ones, but most in the open air, as now, when my soul is wrapped and at peace. Like pleasing phantoms, your memories, rising, glide silently by me. Thank you.